2025 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall.
Anya,
Here.
Chris,
Here.
and Michelle.
Here. Next, we have the consent agenda, and I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, Anya,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and Michelle.
Yes. Next, we have a report from the Mulhall Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay,
Last Monday, everything started and ran fine.
okay.
Or-
I got word today, you're getting the 80-20 grant that I applied for the fuel tanks. Also, the EMT department, they'll be getting their supplies sometime this week. And after they get their supplies, they will schedule an inspection, and then they're ready to go. So they're real close to finishing.
So does that mean, like, anytime a 911 call goes out from here, they'll be contacted, I guess?
Yeah, they've already been contacted some, but yes, they will be legal.
Okay, next we have discussion, consideration, and possible action in regards to budget expenditures for July. I don't think that there was anything out of the ordinary. We had to play property insurance.
Yes.
Do you guys have any questions? No. Next, we have Donna Crane to explain her situation with the recent purchase of her house.
All right. Hello, my name's Donna Crane, and my husband's Jeff Crane. He was unable to be here tonight, but just wanted to have the opportunity to meet everyone. It's been nice to have such a warm reception into the community already, whether it be people stopping by and shaking our hands, or bringing blueberry bread that was absolutely delicious, or these two totally cute little kids showing up at our doorstep who actually invited us to church. So heartwarming. And so, but I wanted to tell you about this little house that we purchased. And so we purchased the Ritter house. It's located just right behind the water tower on the corner of Cummings and Craig. And we had been wanting to move here for the last few years. We've been keeping our eyes open, looking for the right opportunity to either buy some land and build, or figure out what to do. And it's my understanding that this house came up for sale last summer. It was for sale by owner for a while, didn't sell, and then it went on the market with Century 21. And one of my relatives let me know, said, hey, you might want to take a look at this house. And so we ended up purchasing the house. But even though that was supposed to close back in December, it got stuck in probate and title work, so it took 7 months. So we finally closed in May. And we've been occupying it for the last 2.5 months and working on it. You may have noticed an excavator there, which helped put in a driveway and stuff. And so, but you may have also noticed Arizona license plates. And so I thought I'd give a little explanation on that. I know the first time I met Charlie Ritter and shook his hand, he said, sweetheart, do you have in Arizona? Do you have any ties to this little town? I said, oh yes. Mulhall has a very special place in my heart, filled with happy memories here, because this is where both sets of my grandparents lived. And so my grandparents were Bill and Catherine Harris, and also Vernon and Elizabeth Detweiler, south of town on the farm. And so it's been fun meeting people and saying, oh, your grandma was my vacation Bible school teacher, or your grandma used to put shoes on my horse. So, and even if you didn't know my grandma, part of her claim to fame could be during the tornado. It was the water tower that landed in her front yard, and water flooded through her house, and God miraculously saved her and spared her from any injury during that time. But as we've moved here, we're very excited for it, but we are also going to be splitting our time between our home that we have to sell jobs in Arizona and get here permanently. So you'll see me, and then I'll disappear for a while, but then I'll be back. And so in the meantime, I was trying to figure out a way that we could be a blessing to the community. I know that when our relatives come in town for a Detweiler family reunion, my cousins, they have to rent hotels in Guthrie, or we've rented bed and breakfasts, or Airbnb kind of things over in Stillwater. And so thinking that we have this furnished home that can be shared with the community during this window of time before we get here permanently. And I thought we'd propose, perhaps you have family coming in town, or relatives needing a place to stay, or perhaps there's a funeral, and it would sure be nice to be close to the family's homes and not have to commute back and forth between Guthrie and Stillwater. And so, or just like we had all those fires this spring, could be someone who's having their home rebuilt and they need someone to stay for a little bit longer time. And so anyway, just wanted you to be aware of that in case you had any questions about it. And just thank you for welcoming me into the community so warmly, and I look forward to getting to know everyone better. Is there any questions I can answer for you?
I didn't have any questions. I think that we were just not particularly about your house or anything like that. I think what we're looking at is we just want to prevent like companies or property management companies buying up real estate in our town for the sole purpose of renting out, you know, like Airbnb,
corporate kind of
yeah,
thing.
corporate. And then what that does is eliminate homes for families who might want to have kids in our school district.
That's understandable. And you know
So
what?
that's sort of where we're going with that, not preventing
A
you know,
resident that
yeah.
intends to live in the home.
That's not what that was not our intention. So we're looking more like corporate, because, you know, you hear that's not us in particular, but you hear bigger cities are having issues
I have heard that.
with things like that. And with our proximity to Stillwater and OSU football, we don't want to get into that situation. So
Right.
that's why the planning commission right now is looking in to see what, if we have any, you know, what our legal thing is. Our intention is not to prevent you from your goals or anything, so.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And you know, it's like that house had sat vacant for 15 years. And so,
I didn't even know it had been that long.
yeah, Charlie said it was either 2009 or 2010 that they moved her out of there. So it's a long time to be sitting vacant. And so,
Well, I think they kept it for family gatherings.
Exactly.
They always had
They
their
had
4th of
parties.
July parties and stuff like that.
But they did not have any residents
No.
in the home during that time. It just kind of just sat there as a little time capsule.
The property looks beautiful. You guys have done a great job on it.
Thank you. I'm so glad to hear it. And if you're concerned about, like, if we're out of town for a couple of months, just letting you know, we've got Tracy Phillips lined up to keep our grass mowed. And actually, we have Ashley Robinson, who is going to be my right-hand person. We'll have keys to the house and will be able to take care of details for me. So she's hired as well. And so it's not going to become an eyesore.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Resolution 2025-9, resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Mulhall, Oklahoma, notifying the public of the publication of the Mulhall Municipal Code 2025 code, setting the price for the written copies of the code, directing the town clerk to, number 1, file 1 copy of the resolution in the office of the county clerk of Logan County, 2, file a copy of the code in the Logan Law Library, and 3, file at least 3 copies of this code in the office of the town clerk. So this is to start with the codification of our code, correct?
Yes, in order to codify your code, you need to pass both this resolution and this ordinance. This ordinance gives the public a notice of passage of your code. It lists the chapters, it lists the gist of each chapter. The resolution really sets out the procedure of how you make your code lawful. And that is, you file a copy with the law library of Logan County. You file a copy of the resolution with the county clerk, and you get a book and page number on the resolution. And then you set a price for the code, and you have a copy here that people can look through. Now, last week they sent me a copy of the code to review, and this weekend I went through every page. I have to say that I scanned a lot of it, but I looked at every ordinance that you had in the code, and I do have some suggestions. The first one is a minor thing. It mentions a town marshal. Towns don't have marshals, they have police chiefs. So I just substituted those words out, very minor. In that chapter, however, which was really your first chapter, you said nothing about town records. And if you want to comply with the Open Meetings Act, you probably need to have some provisions about town records and setting prices for copies and search fees. State law provides for that. And if you had someone here, it's not just residents. I mean, it's commercial agencies will send emails. I don't know if you get them, but all my other cities get them. And there's commercial groups that want information, and you need to have those provisions in your code. So I amended your code and put all the relevant provisions that you needed on town records, and I set up a fee schedule in your appendix, which just has the fees that you can charge as per state law. Okay. The biggest revision that I did was in your alcohol section. Oklahoma went through a major change a number of years ago. There's no more intoxicating beverages, there's no more taverns, there's no more individual beer, regulating beer. It's all intoxicating beverages, and it's all alcohol. And so I took your chapter 2 out, put my own chapter in there, which has all of the up-to-date regulations on alcohol. Okay. In chapter 3, I noted that you didn't have any provision, and maybe you don't want one, and so this is just an option. I didn't put anything about this in your code, but you do have a chapter on animals. And dogs and cats are normally, the issue there in all of my communities, and I represent, I don't know, 25 or 30 of them. They all, there's always that one person or a dozen people that have 13 cats or, 12 dogs. Most communities have a provision which limits the total number of dogs and cats that you can have. You don't have that, I'm just pointing that out. Okay? And I don't know if it's ever been an issue here, but if it is an issue and you don't have a regulation, then it's an issue, and it's all based on neighbors. But I didn't see any provision that sets a number for dogs and cats. I've seen them a total of 5 dogs and or cats, or I've seen 3 dogs or 3 cats, or up to 6, animals. But I'm just noting that. Okay, what I did add is I added a whole section on dangerous and potentially dangerous dogs. Okay, because if you're going to have regulations on animals, that's really where the rubber meets the road. And that is, if you have a dog that kills a cat, or snaps at people, or growls, or bites somebody, you need to have the law in place for dangerous animals and potentially dangerous animals. So I added that to your animals section. In chapter 4, you had the wrong fire code. When you adopt the codes, you have to have the right one. I don't even know what yours was. It looked like it was Boca from back in the 70s or something. But the fire code that the state is under and that you must be under is the International Fire Code. And it's the 2018 edition. Rather than change it all the time, I made it the latest edition as adopted by the state of Oklahoma. And as adopted by the state of Oklahoma, because Oklahoma doesn't adopt the appendices, and I don't think you should either, but it's as adopted by the state of Oklahoma. Now, other noteworthy provisions that you don't have, which you should have, is if you're going to do any code enforcement, any property maintenance, any cleaning of properties, anything like that, you need to at least adopt the codes which the state requires you to have in place. So in that chapter, I added, and this is required by the state, okay, I added the International Building Code, the International Plumbing Code, the International Fuel and Gas Code, the International Residential Code, and the International Property Maintenance Code. Now, that just means you adopt it by reference, latest edition, just like the state does. We're almost done, okay? In Chapter 8, your provisions on weeds and trash were dated, okay? And so I put in the provisions on weeds and trash, which is, you don't let your grass grow, and there's definitions, you had no definitions. If it's higher than 12 inches, that's considered a weed, and so I included the definitions and the procedures for weeds and trash. I also provided in the code that you could appoint an administrative person to handle that if you didn't want to handle those issues yourself, okay? Now, I didn't add dilapidated buildings, which I just added the correct ones because you didn't have anything on dilapidated buildings. So I just changed out the stuff on weeds and trash. Your sales tax and use tax ordinance were at 3%, and of course yours is at 4%. Now, the 1% that was added, is that dedicated to something? It's just general.
Right.
And you did that in the last couple of years or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. I just changed the 3 to 4. I was talking to Debbie about it, and I said, what is yours? And she said that, so we wanted to make that right. The last thing, mobile food vendors. You had a whole chapter on that, and the state amended that. I was actually down at the state fire marshal's office, and the state fire marshal is going to review all mobile food vendor trucks now. And if they bear the seal of the state on there, then they're good to go. Now, I kept your provisions on location because you can still have those zoning locations. So all I took out was the licensing. The licensing can no longer be done at the municipal level. But you can say you can't be here, you can't be here. As said, I think you've got a distance from schools and a distance from other businesses and the like. And then I added the fees back for the open record. So really not a whole lot, but I did want that. It's ready for, adoption with those changes. Somebody just needs to go through, or I could, but I don't have to, because I'm at a different rate. All that's necessary here is that which I have deleted, delete it. And then that which I had underlined, take out the underlines, okay? And then, but go down through it each page, and then otherwise it's ready to be adopted. So if you want to adopt the municipal code, you would make a motion to pass the resolution, and then move on to the ordinance, and a motion to approve the ordinance, and then file it as provided for under the resolution. Make copies of it and file it as provided in that resolution, and keep copies of that file stamped resolution with book and page number. Put that several places, because that's really, that shows anybody that wants to know that you're up to speed with your code.
So if we go ahead and adopt the resolutions tonight, do we have to file in a certain amount of time, like with the?
Your ordinance has to be published within 15 days of the date
Today,
that you do it, but you do that anyways. And then, no, you take it up there, you have 15 days to take it up there to Logan County and file. But the clerk can do that with a book, with a copy of the code, because you're actually handing a copy of the code to the clerk, okay? And the other thing that isn't in the resolution, which you ought to do, okay? Because sometimes people take those codes, right? Some lawyer might go up there and go, I need to look at that, and it's gonna end up at his law office, right? So, I don't know if I sent it to you. I can give you a little receipt, which just says, I blank, the county clerk for the county of Logan County, do hereby represent that on the blank date of blank, 2025, I received a copy of the Mulhall Municipal Code 2005 and placed it in the Logan County Library, signed. Keep that paper too, because that's your evidence. If the book disappears, that's your evidence that you did in fact put a copy of you gave a copy to the county clerk and she filed it, and that's the whole thing.
Now, isn't OML doing away with the county law library? Because we don't have access to it.
I went through today, every statute that was in that OML report, and I didn't see it, okay? But it may be,
Yeah.
but I mean, I went down every one and I didn't see that bill, but if they did, fantastic, you don't have to do that, but you don't know when that might go into effect. It might be in November, but I did not see that. There were a number of other ones that were very unique in annexation and firearms, municipal employees being able to carry guns, and a bunch of crazy legislation from the way I was reading, but a bunch got passed this year.
Well, that caught my eye because here we are.
Right.
So.
Well, you can check and see what that date is.
Okay.
But
I think it's in the process of.
Yeah, normally, it's some are early and most of them are November.
Yeah.
And so you're doing it now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason not to provide for it.
Okay.
So when we do this, does that start the codification process, or this completes, it takes care of it?
It takes care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you presented a code. It's significantly shorter than other codes. I mean, it doesn't have, it's got a chapter on speeding. But you don't have a police officer, So, I mean, how would you charge somebody, anyways? I mean, normally chapter 15 are regulations on speeding. There's normally a chapter on miscellaneous offenses, which is everything from nudity to urinating in public to stealing utilities to all that. But you need to have, you should have a municipal judge, and if you had that, those chapters would be helpful. But your code is definitely culled down to the essentials. It was 100 pages. Mine are normally 500 pages, but and I don't get paid by the page, so.
So thoughts?
I mean, because I didn't do your code, I can't, I mean, I'm not providing any certification on your code because I didn't do it. You know, what I did do is I reviewed it, and to the extent of which you had, I added to what you had, to what I thought you needed. But you don't have, you know, you've got provisions on the fire department, you have really nothing on the police department. You know, you don't have any zoning, you don't have any zoning, but you do have issues on weeds and trash. And on nuisances, a lot on nuisances, some on private property. You've got regulations on utilities and refuse, and you've got the right provisions on sewer and water that I think are right. You know, what I normally do, and I provided you a code years ago, several years ago, and I think I did a find replace and put your name in place of whoever I had done it for. And a lot of those codes have a lot more in it than what you need. But, you know, they definitely contain what you need. And so, I'm not certifying that yours has everything that you need because I didn't do the code. You know, I just looked at it, and if you got me adding to it, I would add a bunch to it. But then you would tell me probably that we don't need that. And you very well may be right, you know.
Yeah, I think, well, I'll let Anya can answer this better than me being on the planning commission, but they tried to find a balance between what we need without being like
Overbearing with the rules.
Yeah.
like covering us, but not, you know, we're so small that, and we, like you said, like we can't afford to have a police department, obviously.
Yeah.
And we don't have a judge where we can necessarily find people and,
Right.
you know, enforce that stuff, but.
You know, I have been doing contracts between, recently between cities and towns and the county sheriff. And I just finished one in Winoka, in Woods County. The Woods County Sheriff is going to be the police department now. And under the terms of the agreement, they are going to file municipal charges in the municipal court. The deputies are. So acting just like a police department would with a municipal court, and enforcing your code rules, your dog rules, your speeding rules, and the like. And some of that is that seems to be growing because there's a lot of small communities that can't afford. Heck, you can't even afford the police cars anymore. They're so expensive, and all the computer equipment, and then if they're on the state pension and wages, and nobody wants to be a policeman anymore, and so it's hard to find them. And so where that wasn't the way it was in the 70s and 80s and 90s, it's definitely the way it's a Rodney King phenomenon. Since that time, there's a huge rejection of law enforcement, and it's tough to get officers in small communities.
We do have a deputy that does live in Mulhall. He's our school resource officer, but he does live in town, and I think he stopped a speeder not too long ago.
Yeah, if he does, he would file those in the county.
Yeah.
If he did. But I mean, that's what's funny. The state law allows you to do that now, so you can actually have a contract with the county, which may be something that you may think about sometime in the future. If you do, I've got the form.
Good option.
I mean, you've been way more involved with the planning commission, so.
I feel like we were dealing with extremely dated material, so a lot of the stuff we're missing, we had no idea we were missing.
Right,
so
of course.
I was just happy to see
Well,
you fill in the holes today.
Oh yeah, I mean, I filled in the holes on all the stuff that I think is is important. Getting the sales tax, use tax rate right. And this mobile food vendor, it just got passed this, I mean, it may not even be in effect yet, but I figured,
Yeah.
you know, if you're gonna codify it, why amend it later?
True.
And then, you know, I have to, you know, I have to presume that all the ordinances that you've passed since the time your last codification were included in this code, or if not included, aren't needed, because this is gonna be your new code.
Right,
You know, whatever this is your new code here.
yeah. Those were included, so, because
Mhm.
we have discussed all of that, so. Anyway,
I have more and more communities that want to reduce the regulations, so you don't feel that you're in, I've gotten hired by Slaughterville that has the most detailed zoning code, and the folks got elected and want me to dumb down all the regulations. And Slaughterville has no water service, they have no sewer service, they have no police department, they have no parks department, they have no street department, they have 4,500 people, and they're 35 square miles large. They have none of those things, but they have zoning. I guess people move there to be in large acreages. But imagine a city like that has no utilities, no police department, no parks, no streets, no anything like that. They depend entirely on the county, Cleveland County.
can you imagine not having water service?
I know.
Did you have anything, Chris? Anything? Well, if nothing else, then I make a motion that we pass resolution 2025-9 for the Board of Trustees, notifying the public of the publication of our codes.
Second.
Anya,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and Michelle.
And I vote yes. Next, we have D, which is ordinance number 2025-3.
Yeah. Okay.
An emergency ordinance adopting and enacting and recodifying a code of ordinances for the town of Mulhall to be known as the Mulhall Municipal Code 2025, establishing the same, providing for the repeal of certain ordinances not included therein, providing for the manner of amending and supplementing such code, providing for publishing the title of each chapter and a condensed list or summary of their content and authority, providing for an emergency. And this just goes along with what we've already discussed, so I make a motion that we pass ordinance number 2025-3.
Second.
Can you pass me a pen?
Anya,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and Michelle.
Yes.
Madam Mayor, are those the issues that you wanted me here for?
Do
Yes.
Yeah.
Mayor?
D?
Yeah, I mean, are you done with me now?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you?
Yeah.
Did we need him for public work?
No. Well, yes, I do need a signature on Public Works. It's for
Okay.
the verification, for a grant.
Okay, well, let me sign it now. I mean, I'm just trying to save you money. Believe it or not. And I've got to get to the Mexican place so I can have a taco, or can have a burrito tonight. You know, it'll be closed by the time I get to Enid.
Okay.
Okay, are we filing, we're filing as the Public Works Authority?
Yes.
So it's the Public Trust.
Yes.
And you guys are going to approve this?
Yes,
Don't send it in if you don't approve it.
we won't. They want that generator.
Oh, you know, they raised these REAP grants this year to 350,000. Did you see that?
No,
Yeah,
Like,
I thought it was 150.
it's 150, but they raised it
I
to
know.
350,000
Wow.
like that we could get
That you
or to
could-
spread out?
that you could get. The maximum.
That's your new goal.
That's one that I read.
It's due September the 2nd.
Debbie, am I signing this outline?
Safe travels.
Am I signing this outline?
Sandy's gonna ask you. Yeah, she's already, he's already.
I don't know why.
I didn't want that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Safe
Thank
travels.
you.
Yeah.
Bryce, I wanna say thank you, 'cause we worked a lot on that road and, all of us on the commission. And, we knew there was some legal jargon that we didn't understand.
I added the legal
You
jargon.
got the legal stuff in there.
And we got the adopting language in there too.
All right,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm glad I remembered that.
Next, we have appearances.
Then were you to speak if you're not on the agenda?
Yep.
Okay. May I speak? Okay. We're bringing Ron and I here this month. We listened to last month's meeting on YouTube. And quite a bit of concerning terminology about runoff and burning water natural. I'm sure we have never done it intentionally. In fact, the last work done on there, or work done by Frank, paid for by the resident who was complaining. And so, and also the two tiny tin horns that are plugged up, they're both 2-foot tin horns side by side. They're blowing fine. Bill saw them, Debbie saw them. So, and then you look at Google, there was a pond added after they had built the pond place. Looking at the Google Earth images, that was 5 years before that last house was built. Everything up there was stacked in a place. So, just his request for city attorney and legal action was very concerning. We want to be good neighbors to the town and the people of the town.
And I know we had the engineer go up and look. I'm not sure where we're at with all of that at this point.
Yeah, I met him up there, we're cooperating. But as far as just going there and taking the pinholes out, we're gonna be pretty guarded with just open the gate and do work after we did that once, and then we'll get the key for stuff.
Okay.
So, but we wanna work with them and all that. The reason those pinholes are in there is because they haven't wanted to develop that on the north side of town. Well, so I really would have never looked at it, but when that residents try to buy that road right away, if that's ever developed up there and those people want access to the town, it might be good for the town to still have that road right away. That's not my vote, but I just want to say.
Okay. I'm not sure where we stand with all that at this point.
I haven't heard back from the
Okay.
engineer or the surveyor.
Yeah. But just for
Has the
future
surveyor been
growth of the town, they won't keep that.
What?
Surveyor been here yet?
No.
No.
The surveyor we're really down low on the surveyor's business.
I don't know, Rush. I just
Yeah.
wanted to speak our side of it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of accusations and concerning comments made.
No, we're just waiting on, and like, we can't discuss anything about it, but we have contact with the surveyor, so Debbie knows more about what's going on than I do probably, but we're getting into it, so. But
We'll
we,
cooperate however we can.
yeah, no, we understand.
So we'll be at meetings until this is kind of.
Yeah. No, we understand,
Yeah.
so, anyway, I think everybody just wants to fix the problem.
Yeah.
So, but, we got you. But we appreciate you coming,
Yeah.
so. At least that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever the engineer has for recommendations, we'll consider it.
Okay. I don't think he's gotten back with anything final.
He hasn't.
And I know Willis has been up there, Frank.
And I've got him working on this grant too, so.
And one concern about just pulling those tin horns out is releasing all that water against the next tin horn might be a problem for more than just one house.
And we all know Mulhall has a drainage problem
Yeah.
anyway.
Because there's extra culverts that used to not be there.
Yeah.
For instance, things have changed. Lots of changes.
Yeah. So, okay. I appreciate you coming.
Yep.
Anything else? Do we have any miscellaneous?
I don't think so.
No? I don't have anything. So I make a motion, we adjourn at 7:41.
Second.
Just a second. Anya,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and Michelle.
Yes.